Did they really think it was a good idea to travel all that way? In this, that's absolutely crazy. On the other hand, oh yes, a few men going all the way to the moon 50, 60 years ago in this. Now this is state-of-the-art engineering, folks. Take a look at this. Goodness gracious me, you've got your aluminium foil, you've got your cardboard, you've got your curtain rods, some sticky tape. Yes. Now this is sensible. But these guys, I don't know what they were thinking. Anyway, what I want to talk about in this presentation is some very fishy stuff that I've discovered about this sub thing. Just bear with me, because you're going to understand by the end of this. Well, I think this is all very suspicious. I'm very suspicious about all of this. So I found this article from The Guardian. It's about the Titan. It says, 2 Britons who have visited the wreck of the Titanic have expressed confidence in the submersible's crew and said there is a chance they will be recovered. Let's just zoom in for those of you who want to watch along with me. Dick Barton, the first British diver to see the Titanic wreck, told ITV's Good Morning Britain it's a dangerous and hostile place to be, and he 100% felt in danger during previous expeditions. Barton said he was with Paul Henry Nargiello, I think that's how you pronounce him, reported to be on board the Titan, calling him an extremely capable submersible operator pilot who had been down to the wreck 37 times. 37 times, he says. Now, so Dick Barton was the first British diver to see the Titanic wreck. And I was like, well, that's very interesting. So I looked up, who is Dick Barton? Wow, how about this? This is from the Titanic Museum. He was the first British man to dive to the Titanic. He went on to make 22 dives to the wreck. Really? He was the former vice president of the RMS Titanic Inc. Hold on a second, what's the RMS Titanic Inc? Well, the RMS Titanic Inc., also known or affiliated with Premier Exhibitions Inc., Atlanta, Georgia-based company that organizes traveling exhibitions. As of January 2019, the company owned 5,500 Titanic relics, with approximately 1,300 on display across various countries. And I'm just getting warmed up here, folks. So this is one of their exhibitions. If you live in a large city, maybe they've even brought this exhibition to your part of the world. So let me get this straight. The news is interviewing, as part of, learning more about this horrible disaster, and of course my heart goes out to the families of the people who've perished in this, presumably perished in this sub-disaster. The news is quoting a guy called Dick Barton, supposedly the first British man to go to see the Titanic. This guy was the president of a company that makes money selling artifacts of the Titanic. Now, if you're new to my channel, you might be like, well, JLB, who cares? What's the big deal? Just bear with me. I'm going to make it all make sense in just a minute. But first, let's go back to this. Dick says it's like if you go and get the best hotel in the world, 600 miles off the coastline, crack it in half like an egg, and spread the contents on the seabed. Also photographed are 2 styrofoam cups. One was attached to the vessel when they took it to the Titanic wreck in 2001. It was subsequently crushed by water pressure. Okay, so I found this interview of this guy. Right, this is from a day ago. This is Dick Barton. So this is the first British dude to go and see the Titanic, and supposedly he's done it 22 times. Listen to this.
Nargeolet, knowing him, what sort of skills does he have that you think might be able to help them with their situation?
All right, now check this out. He talks about how Paul Henry's on there. We'll get to Paul Henry in a minute, but first, just listen to this guy.
Sight all the way through it, and at 15-minute intervals, back to the mothership, just to let them know you're still good and you're in good shape.
So I gather, sir, that you know one of the passengers on board, the French submersible pilot, Paul-Henri Nargeolet. Knowing him, what sort of skills does he have that you think might be able to help them with their...
This is a really weird interview, by the way. There's some background noise. That's not my background noise. That's these guys. It's like someone is, I don't know, they've just bought something from IKEA and they're putting it together in the background. Very strange. His demeanor in this whole interview is strange. He's blinking like Blinky Bill. But check this out.
Situation right now.
Yeah, our PH is an amazing individual. He's a great submariner. He's ex-French Navy. He's dived the wreck 37 times. There's no one person who knows more about deep sea expeditions and research than PH.
So he's ex-Navy. No one's dived more than this guy. This is supposedly the captain of the submersible, right? We'll get to this guy in just a minute, but first, check this out. You know that story they told you about the cup, right? That I just read out to you from here. Where is it? Yeah, this is part of an exhibition, right? Dick Barton's wreck dive diary. Also photographed the 2 styrofoam cups, right? And it was crushed by water pressure. Now listen to this guy's story.
Just tissue paper, and that's then strapped to the outside of the submersible in a net bag. And when we eventually come up topside and recovered, the actual same coffee cup is basically a
Wow.
that size. So this illustration of the extraordinary pressure that exists and we're subjected to, and that makes the titanium hull squeak and creak as well. It's an interesting.
It makes the titanium hull squeak. Yeah, I don't know about any of that. But anyhow, so the point is, when you're looking into these people, they're telling the same stories over and over again. Oh, we took a styrofoam cup, put it on our submarine, and then when we got down there, it got crushed. We brought it back up, and now you can see it. Okay, I'm sure there is lots of water pressure down there. But what I find interesting is, it's the same story told over and over again. How come he's not telling us about what he saw when he was... I watched this whole 5 minutes. There's nothing about what he actually saw. And then I showed you before, he says, oh, it's like if you got a hotel and split it open and all the contents went everywhere. What the hell are you talking about? It's all very strange, if you ask me. Now, he spoke about this Paul Henry, who's the captain, right? So I looked into this guy. Paul Henry, Nargilo, French diver on missing sub, is Titanic expert. Right, now let's scroll down this article here. During his explorations of the wreck of the Titanic, he brought about... let's zoom in there for those of you watching at home. He brought about 5,500 objects to the surface, including personal items belonging to passengers, like binoculars and letters. Hold on, so this guy, who is the captain of this submarine that supposedly disappeared, right, like the one that's currently missing, that you're hearing all about, during his explorations, he brought 5,500 objects to the surface. Well, hold on. How many objects are there? 5,500. So let me get this straight. The people who claim to have the relics from the Titanic, they got them all from this guy, right? And this guy is supposedly on a different submarine that is now missing, and he was with Dick Barton. This guy, where is he? He was with him when he made his trips down there. Do you see? Are you guys starting to see some problems with all of this? Can you see where I'm going with this, folks? Can you connect to the dots? Like I'm putting the dots there. Are you connecting the dots here? So we're led to believe. You know what? Let's just keep going. I'll connect the dots later. Okay, so I'll look further into it. RMS Titanic, who he was the chief of, remember? That's how he got here in the first place, right? Let's go back. Where was I? Dick Barton. He's around here somewhere. Dick Barton was the first British diver to see the Titanic wreck, okay? That's this guy, right? And he's the one who talks about the water pressure, you know, with the freaking styrofoam cup, all right? So this guy goes on a boat, on a submarine with this guy. Dick Barton, at the time, was in charge of the people who have the artifacts, and they have apparently a world tour where people pay money to go and see the artifacts. Those artifacts all come from this guy, and this guy was on the boat with this. It wouldn't take too many people working together if they wanted to maybe invent. Okay, let's just say they brought back, just work with me here, folks. Let's say they brought back 4,900 artifacts from the Titanic. What if these guys said, hey, you know what? None of the artifacts we brought back is a golden lamp from one of the deluxe suites of the Titanic. What if we just found one down at the old market down the road, pretended that we found it on the Titanic, and then passed it off as the real deal, you know? Let's just say they did that. Who's going to know the difference? This guy was running the company that makes the money selling things to go and see the artifacts. This guy, where is he, was the guy doing all the tours. That's 2 people would have to be involved in that. And no one would know the difference. No one would know the difference. Now, let's go a little bit further. What if they made the whole thing up? What if they made the whole fucking thing up? Who would know the difference? Who would know the difference if Blinky Bill and Paul Henry, the expert diver guy, made the whole thing up? Oh, but JLB, people would never make up going to the Titanic to bring back artifacts to sell tickets for a world. People would never do. This guy is Navy. Alright, supposedly before he got into this Titanic exploration, he was Navy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you tell me that someone works for the freaking government, I don't really have the greatest level of trust in anything they say about anything. No offense, okay? And you've got these 2... Now, anyway, let's carry on. So, supposedly, right, this guy's company that he used to work for has the rights to the wreckage, right? Supposedly. But if you look into it, that's disputed. There's no official story as to who has the rights. So how come there's one group who get to claim that they have the rights? Oh, because they're the only ones who can get a submarine down there. Oh, and who are the other groups who can get submarines down there? Oh, it's the government. In fact, according to the official story, that's how the Titanic was discovered. This Ballard guy, let me show you this article. Robert Ballard found the Titanic wreckage in 1985. Here's how he discovered it and what has happened to its artifacts since. Ballard was an oceanographer and Naval Reserve commanding officer. Oh, so another Navy guy, right? Oh, he performed top secret naval missions during the Cold War. Started developing his own remotely operated underwater vehicle, did he? Okay. But he couldn't fund it. So he turned to the Navy and asked Ronald Thunman for funds. And then Ballard said, hey man, if you fund my little remote control submarine, you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm also going to find your missing 2 US nuclear submarines. What the fuck is this? So according to the story, the Titanic wreckage itself was found by a Navy guy, a naval officer of some type, but he had a little pet project that he wanted to work on, discovering the Titanic. So he went to the top brass and he said, hey boys, give me some money. I'm going to go and find the Titanic, and to make it worth your while, I'm going to find your missing nuclear submarines. And the top brass of the US Navy were like, you know what, son? We believe in you. We're going to fund your... Guys, are you listening to any of this nonsense? Are you listening to this? Now, there's a link in the info box below. I want you to go and check it out. It's called Revisiting the Titanic Hoax. Only available to members of johnthebond.com. Alright? And if you're not a member yet, go and join, treat yourself. The amount of content there will just blow you away. It's phenomenal. Now let's go back to this. This is the thing that people believe landed on the moon. Some people are skeptical about that claim. I'm skeptical that these guys ever went to the Titanic. I'm skeptical that any of these guys. I'm skeptical about all of their so-called artifacts. I'm skeptical. And I want your thoughts in the comment section below. What the hell is going on here? Old mate sells tickets. Old mate with the styrofoam cups sells his tickets for people to come and see, among other things, his styrofoam cups. Yeah? This dude was the guy who brought back all of the artifacts, supposedly. They took trips together, they knew each other. Yeah? There's something very strange about all of this. I'm starting to think that maybe the Titanic wreckage was never found. I'm even starting to wonder if the Titanic ever existed.
Shit, they're lying to us!